Friday, calling out Asmongold's ignorance because it's true. Regardless of however you want to spin it, it's just true. So, I got today's agenda here and maybe for part of the rest of the week too, because this is taking longer than I thought it was going to, and I'm already late. But here is the data, just to start, at least from what I see, and I've just double checked the background and the sourcing of this. Cato Institute, this is the one that I mentioned that I was going to go over, which I did go over after the whole Asmongold video, which calling out that ignorance, that stupidity, stating that political violence is coming from 90% the left. And between that and the other instances of demonization and hyperbolic statements, just all this stuff, it's building. And mind you, people took the bait. I knew that this video was going to get some sort of attention. As I stated in my Existential 101 video, go check that out. It's the first video on the channel. Bad publicity is good publicity, right? And this goes to prove it. This also goes to prove my point where people need to get pressured. People need to get called out on the debate stage. People need to just get called out in general on YouTube, which is why I even sent that video out in the first place, because one, I have a right to my opinion, just like as much as Charlie Kirk had a right to his. It's bullshit, obviously. It's stupid. It's ignorant to say that freedom of speech only applies to you and you get to say what you want to say, where if I say literally the truth in this instance, right? And I'm willing to concede that, yes, maybe this person did turn partially left wing, but there's more nuance to it. Just like how the Pennsylvania instance with the Orange Abomination, just like as much as that happened, and we found out more and more, person grew up right, except, well, that instance, they were just like, too far into it, they were just like, you guys aren't doing enough, the whole political system sucks, I'm gonna act out. Bad. And in this instance, I mean, both sides are kind of there, but more so is because of the right. Because of how this kid was, unfortunately, I mean, brought up to believe, and I'm guessing, I don't even know what the parents let him access on the internet. I don't know if there's any monitoring of that activity as this person was growing up. You would think so. So, the switch, which they've even said happened pretty quickly and pretty recently. So, as this kid got out from living under, believing the sort of things that Charlie was saying, right? We can agree on that. I'm pretty sure we can. Maybe this kid also didn't agree with his parents. Maybe he saw stuff on the internet, okay? But the point is, he was brought up in such a lifestyle that affected him clearly. He was subject to, and specifically did not like Charlie, which, if he had an issue, he should have talked to him. I can agree with you on that. I said that, right? And it's just funny with the reactions, but here, we'll go over some of the numbers first. I tried to backtrack through the data as well, because this is from Alex Norstay. I'm probably pronouncing that very awkwardly. But from the Cato Institute, I checked the bias. It's a libertarian type bias. And even with keeping in mind, as I said in previous videos regarding this instance, that even out of the three big instances, the two attempts on the president, and then as well as the instance with Charlie Kirk, out of the three, even if Charlie Kirk was to be a leftist, that's still not 90%. That's still, that number is absolute bullshit, and that's the problem. Because, again, as I stated in that video, someone that big of a following that's ignorant and irresponsible, just like, I mean, the people on the right that keep spewing this type of shit, You can say you can call on it for what it is, but you're not. Just fundamentally, when you look at the data, and again, if you want me to go on stream and go over in detail, we can do from 2024 to now, right? We can look this up and compile a list of extremism in a sense, not in any way to glorify it, but in fact to prove similar points to this article, which is from apparently libertarian bias when you look into it far enough. Which I mean, it's not the ADL, it's pretty straightforward. And even with that sort of bias, because he's mentioned Alex in a recent article that he understands the developments with Tyler. He understands or believes that left wing ideology. He's on your side. But even with this data, this proves you wrong. Or at least Asmon's terrible take on it. It proves him wrong. So the data being, go to the table. This is unaliving specifically, not just crimes, but the ones that you guys are counting. And you can even say crimes as well. But overall, the percentages from 1975 to now. 65 from the left, 391 from the right. Alright? There's a share including 9/11. But we're looking at left versus right. You do the numbers, you get about an 85 versus a 15%. Alright, we went over in a video before. You could take out your calculator, do it now. Look it up. Alright? Good practice for you. This is what people should be doing, at least, before they start saying stupid shit. Because of the vibes or whatever. I get that you have an opinion and stuff, but when you say things like that, there's polarization. And if you don't recognize that sort of thing, you're inherently causing harm to society. Right? And without proper pushback like this, what I'm doing right now, it's allowed. It's allowed to continue happening. The pendulum's allowed to swing even harder the other way. Because that's what we've been seeing over the last decade. And for me to come out now, which is my purpose, it's not about the subs, it's not about any of that shit. It's about showing you people a different perspective and pushing back. Right? It's about the same thing that Charlie was doing. Prove me wrong. And we'll get into the comments in a minute. But these are the numbers here. When you take left versus right, you do the math, it comes out to an 85 versus 15%. So nowhere close to 90. If anything, the right side's closer. When we go down further to look at instances since 2020, which is a lot less, but I can concede, and we're going to do a little bit more math to see if there is a 90% somewhere. But since 2020 specifically, since the fake election, okay? 18 versus 44. You take the math for that, it works out to be 71 versus 29. 71% from the right casualties compared to the left. Okay? We can measure the severity like that because that's the instance that we're checking out now is what it is. And at the same time, mind you, we had a incident in Colorado the same day, and we already knew the ideology of that person, but no one wants to talk about that. And same thing with the Minnesota senator. That's what I'm pointing out. This pendulum gets to swing back one way as far as you like. And then when something happens that causes the swing the other way, you either try to control it or you make it worse. Those are the two options. I would like to control that and slow that shit down. Okay? Because that's how we're going here. It's not good, and I don't condone any of this yet again. Which, I mean, I'm seeing from the comments that I got from that video, seeing the bait that I threw out there, and seeing how quick and easy that worked, I was like, what the hell? And it proves a point. It proves what this hate does, what this rhetoric does. And at the same time, you can see there's a clear difference between both administrations. During the ones that were democratically led and past Republican led, like even Bush, right? They had a sense of empathy. They had a sense of understanding that the things that they said make a difference, especially those in government. And ever since we went orange, that's been out the window. And we see what's been happening. There's been an increase, kind of. And we can even see that. I'll do the math now. So we had, I know this is going to be begrudgingly ridiculous. I'll just look up calculator. Big old calculator. So we got 18 to 44. Add those up. That's 62, I believe. Yep, 62. So 14 divided by 62. 22.5. Oh, 18, my bad. That's why I was like, wait, that's not right. Again, we're all human, we all screw up. But at least I took the time to look to see if I fucked up. Yeah, 29. So about 29%. If you want to know how to do percent, you get a decimal, you numerate over the total. But whatever side you're looking at, we're comparing left versus right. Alright? This is the best comparison because we're taking out all the other factors. Right? It's as pure as you're going to get since 2020. Do that, multiply by 100 to get the percentage. 29% around, we'll just do 2-digit, maybe even 3. I mean, it rounds down anyways. Good. And then we do 44 divided by 62, right? 70.9, about 71%. That's the point. All right, and we can do a whole ass list from 2024 to 2025 and maybe see if there's a 90% somewhere. But this is what the right's saying. Well, the actual numbers. And granted, since 1975, it's still a hell of a lot smaller than 300. So good, you slow down a lot, right? And in fact, slow down so much that the left wing's starting to come up a little bit more. We see that's a 21% compared to the last one was a 15%. So it went up. I don't think it went up 90%. Let's do some math there because we had the 29% and what was it, the 15? Let's get the actual number real quick. So 65 plus 391. We'll see the difference in percent. See if that's 90. Maybe it's doubled. Yeah, the numbers don't say it's doubled, but we'll work through it real quick just to show you. Right? So 456. So 65 divided by 456. Well, 14%. 14.25. So double that would be 28 times 2. 28. Oh, am I doing this right? Double check real quick. 391. Oh, maybe it's arisen much more since, like 30 years in comparison. Numbers are still pretty friggin' low compared to the right. So, let's see, that plus 65. Yep. And 65 divided by. I already forgot the number now. That's weird that this thing is. Okay. 65 plus 391. I know this is so lame. That was a 1. That was not 65 plus 391. 456. Okay, remember that. 456. 456. 14.25%. since 1975. And then 29% now. So times 2, that would be like 100%. So 28. So I guess there's your 90. Actually, left left wing's got 100% worse since 1975. There. There, you happy? You got your number. Meanwhile, right's pretty friggin' strong anyways. Still going strong. It's still shit, man. It's still shit when you do numbers and conflate the shit like that. It's better if you actually address the issues, the underlying issues. So now, let's look at the underlying issues, like the rhetoric. So this is the video I implore you to look at, where we go over the numbers. And let's go to the very popular video, for whatever reason. Not very popular. Record this and
the
do
most
this. Popular one that I got. And we'll see. This is the top comment. It's a left issue. No leftists were assassinated. I mean, dumb. Just dumb. Midwittery abound. Just ignorant. Like, why? Explain. Explain yourself. Go ahead. Leave more comments. Go in detail why you don't like. Some of these people went in detail, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate the interactions, because then I get to talk to these people about it, and some good points are being made, and here I am working with it, working with you through it. Easiest don't recommend channel, click on my life. Mind you, the funniest part too is the people that I'm talking about, the person, all he does is sit there and have the dumbest fucking takes in the world. Hassan even has done tapes sometimes. Alright? I'm doing the same shit as them. Genuinely. Except I'm not showing my face. I don't feel comfortable doing that, especially at least right now, because of just how negative society is to any search for the truth. Any attempt at it. Any attempt at like going against the rhetoric. The shit that people are saying. And we're like, oh, now we take percentages and statistics and try to own the other side. When I saw this, I thought of MSDNC, Steve Ratner, right? Because what does he do? He goes over the numbers all the time. Where was this energy all this time? It's been there. You don't pay attention because you're so stuck in your fucking bubble. And we're going to have a video that goes over the effects of being in a bubble, because that's what happened with this kid. This kid named Tyler Robinson. And it's fucked up. It's bad that he went to that lengths. Now this is where that type of shit happens. You can read this for yourself. But it's shit like this. You mean what? Kirk was the nice one. Next time will not change my mind, but it's stupid. And even if you can consider it trolling, it's bad. Because even when you look at the things that Charlie was saying, he's not too far off from shit like this. And it's not good. Granted, all I did was big yikes and exactly the kind of reaction that people are calling out as radicalization. You should get some help, take a break off of the internet, whatever. And take the time to understand and ease back into reality before you become the next Tyler. Hoping and praying for you to see the light through all the darkness that your radical right has you under. And then may Jesus' teachings prevail and such. Because by the end of the day, and how I kind of see this too, this is going to be a weird comparison, right? Especially when we think about Christianity and Asmongold's audience. and just the right in general. You remember how Jesus came up, right? You remember how Jesus Christ, he basically, him and his disciples wrote the New Testament in order to be less violent, right? Take out more of the violence, to be more friendly, communicative, and just other fancy friggin' words as I lose track. But that's the thing. It's like, what I'm offering you is the New Testament. What Asmon is the Old Testament, because clearly there's a lot of hate and blind rage. Same thing with what's coming from Elon. Same thing with what's coming from Eric Trump. Same thing that's coming from a lot of people on the right and the richest people in the world. Just the absolute kerosene on the flames that is going on. It's not good. And we need to call it out for what it is. And at the same time, push for actual talking. As you see in the comments, I'm replying, I'm responding. You know, trying to do it the best way I can with a sense of humanity, with a sense of understanding, but also calling stupid for what it is. The same shit that Asmon says. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, looks like a duck, it's probably a fucking duck. If it sounds like a dumbass, acts like a dumbass, reads like a dumbass, doesn't understand shit like a dumbass, doesn't want to take the time to understand anything like a dumbass, you know, an ignoramus, then they're probably a dumbass. I'm not the smartest person in the world either, but it doesn't take that much to be at least somewhat smart at anything. It just takes a little time, a little practice, right? A little analyzing, letting things go through. Like the Utah governor saying the Kirk assassin had a leftist ideology. He made that a point. That, in some sense, I guess you can say that, because just when you're looking at right versus left, right? And I can get your perspective on this. Because because this person was against what Charlie believed in. He was against the things that Charlie was saying. Mind you, this person grew up on the right. You know, learn how to use a weapon. Was active in church and, you know, part of the family. I'm hoping that the family was a good part of his life. But who knows? We'll find out more. And then you'll find out more of the nuances and factors behind it all, depending on how much this person wants to talk. And the one part that I can also concede is anyone that knew about this, that was regardless of political belief, because again, we got to also remember that this person was registered unaffiliated. They didn't take part in the political part of all of this, right? They didn't vote left or right. They didn't participate in that. He probably doesn't give a shit what side of the spectrum. He just sees that you grow up one way. You see the things that Charlie's saying. You grow up with your family following that, and then maybe you start seeing a different perspective, which seems like what happened. All of a sudden, you're like, it's not like that. And then all that hate that you were led to believe, you know, all that anger, because when you look through these comments alone, as a good example, you can see where that hate and anger is really coming from, right? I call out one person's audience and one person's take, right? That little bit of bad publicity, because this is also the big concern, is this is normal now. And this is a lot less comments than friggin' 48, which is another thing that I'm curious of. I mean, when I look at this, yeah, your wealth of stupidity is astounding, go cry, you loser. Like, it's okay to be wrong, the left are violent and atrocious people, you'll grow up eventually. You're not right, man. Because you look at the actual elected officials, the actual politicians that are left wing, you know they're not. You just want to believe that so you can justify your feelings. You want to believe in the Old Testament, the ways of retribution and anger, because it feels good to you. That's fucked up. And even one other thing, too. And I've seen this as someone that used to watch Asmon. There was times where he's even admitted that he grew up maybe not the sanest. And granted, sure, he's come a long way, but you can tell that, and he's even admitted that violence and anger and all that other stuff, it's a part of his character. It's a part of who he is, and you can see it leak out every now and again. But as he's reflected on his younger years, he's pointed that out. And that is something that his audience should take into consideration, unless that's what they relate to, you know? And again, when we have another video later on about ego and character and what determines someone's ego and character, when we analyze humanity and personality through like ways of looking at psychology and philosophy and shit like that, you'll start to see what I mean a little bit more. But that's also the difference is, again, with the Old Testament, at least back then, the way that they used it was for fear, for control. Because what happened to Jesus? He got crucified. Why did he get crucified? Because he was trying to spread kindness. He was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to make sense of his reality, his world. And he had people that believed in him. And whether he did miracles or all this other shit or whatever, who knows? But the moral basis for the evolution of from Catholicism to Christianity or Judaism, at least back then, because I believe that's what the Old Testament was for, maybe early forms of Catholicism. But to be Christian was to believe in the New Testament, whereas what Charlie Kirk was saying was definitely shit from the Old Testament, man. It is definitely not what Jesus believed in. I can tell you that right now. As someone that's paid attention in history class and theology and religion, learned about different aspects of each religion, and has taken the time to look into these things, it matters. That perspective, that outlook, the parts of the ego and character matter because it mattered to the people that crucified Jesus because they didn't like that they were taking away control just by spreading kindness, by trying to dispel the rhetoric. And this is, quite frankly, what I'm trying to do. Not saying that I'm Jesus. I do not want to be revered in that such way. I don't think any one person really wants to be revered like that. It just ends up happening eventually for some people because they get viewed one way or another. And this is kind of what happened to Charlie Kirk in a way because the people that believed the things that he said thought they were believing in Jesus for what Jesus actually is because he used his name in vain. And sorry to say, but that's the truth. When you go back and actually analyze the religions and where they come from and the differences, you'll see it for yourself. You can call it bad take or anything, but the truth is the truth. And like I also said in Existential 101, the first video, you can go check it out. Just like with the bad publicity equals good publicity, how I might end up sounding like the crazy village lady. There's reasons for how things are the way they are. There's reasons to how people might feel due to how they see things and how they live through things, what they understand. And if you don't realize that, then you're going to get lost in the sauce. If you don't have someone to check you back into reality, to push against your ideals just a little bit, just to at least have you pause and think for a minute, you're bound to get caught up in the worst of the worst. And so it sucks that this is how things are, is that there's so much posturing, there's so much stupidity out there and ignorance. And I'm going to call it for what it is, because that's what you have to do in times like this, to some degree, and the truth hurts. That's also another part of the existentialism, that just understanding that people don't like to hear the truth. Clearly, you can look at these comments, you can see what everyone's saying. Go back to sleep, little one. When you wake up, your ideology will gone. It will be gone, Jesus Christ. Dream of Asmon and stay mad. It's like, I'm not. One, I'm not even that mad. Two, it's just sad that people want this ideology of hate and anger and just Zionism and just cultism. It's a leftist issue. You're all violent thugs. All you disgusting people are. And this is also the other thing too, which this video proves, is the algorithm. I was easily able to abuse that shit just by the title and some of the comments, the content that I had in here. You know, just by some of the things that I was talking about. So it's really that easy to get your opinions out if they're a little against the grain, right? If you challenge someone else. Because this worked. This is the most views I got on any video ever. It's insane. And granted, people may not have liked it, but it's still interactions. It's still what I wanted by the end of the day. Whether it's the dumbest friggin' takes, the stupidest interactions, because I don't see anyone making any points here. Unlike me, who actually at least went and looked and went over some reports and did some math. I don't see anybody doing this shit. So this is why I'm here. This is why I'm going to keep doing it. Me compared to every other dumbass streamer that you might watch, or some of the, you know, there are good streamers too. They're entertainment. There are some people with some entertainment, right? This is some entertainment. You're not always going to get entertained. But this is a little entertaining in and of itself. Just seeing the reactions, just seeing how quick people were able to take this sort of bait without even looking at the rest of the channel, and proving the point that your ignorance is what's causing this. Your dumb takes is what's causing this. You know? It's simple. Definition of ignorance. Definition of ignorance. Lack of knowledge or information. It's true. You guys fundamentally lack any sense of knowledge or information when it comes to these issues. Because clearly you have nothing to prove me wrong with. So I'll ask you again, prove me wrong. Go ahead. Unless you really want to use the statistic that I just gave you, I guess from 1975 to, I don't know, to maybe now, I guess. There's a difference in left-wing casualties from political violence than right-wing. I don't know. It's still a bad point, especially without context, to say that one side is just evil and violent, even when the data doesn't suggest that, right? Because again, we just looked at some data from someone that is in the middle, and if you want me to stream and go over from 2024 to 2025, let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, I implore you to take the time to look this shit up for yourself. Take the time to do it yourself, right? Actually have a good argument next time when you come to enter my comments section. Or at least, you know, give out some good points, okay? Instead of throwing out stupid-ass numbers and then saying that, you know, maybe I should quit streaming. Maybe, like, all this other shit. You're not winning any argument. In fact, this just shows me how angry you guys are and how quick to anger you guys are. This is not going to help your channel get more subs. For or against Kirk, your opinion on the matter is as big as a hair on someone's ass. I mean, same thing with Asmon's opinion, dude. That's a bigger hair on someone else's ass. It's probably the biggest hair on my fucking ass right now. Because that opinion was trash. And I'll say it again. And your opinions are pretty friggin' trash too. You got no information saying, oh, finally people are coming with statistics and all this other shit. They have been. You just refuse to listen, and this got you to listen for at least a few minutes. And maybe the next one will too. But we'll see. Either way, I'm going to continue doing this. This is my response for now. And, I mean, I implore you to check this video out. Saying that I'm a bigger cockroach worthy of that title. And none of you people took the time to look at any other videos on my channel. Fucking dumbasses. Or to even look up things yourself. This is the point. Anyways, next video we're gonna go over some other stuff. Yeah, I guess I'll just go over Charlie Kirk and the background for this kid, I suppose. So, until next time, this is Sparks AMPs. This is already long, and people are probably not even gonna watch this. Because maybe it's too long. But it's the response, so here you go. Like, sub, comment down below, keep it civil. Keep all this shit. Just stop doing crazy shit. Oh yeah, wait, before I forget. Because there was someone that said that. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, cool. Said that apparently I was deleting comments, and I think they just deleted their own comment at this point because I fucking called them out. This is funny. Let me see if I can find it. Might take me a minute. This is gonna be annoying. But there's so many comments, and I can do this shit for a long ass time. But runtime's ridiculous. No. Trying to get to my drive. I'm trying to find the actual photo. What the hell, mate? There we go. Alright, yep, here it is. Oop. So apparently, I'm deleting comments when I'm not. Because it was here, and when I screenshotted this, what was it, yesterday? It was there. So, I confronted him. Said I didn't delete any of the comments. We'll start here. Go back to sleep, little one. When you wake up... Oh, no, he did say that, so I didn't... Maybe he just deleted his response. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting, because we did go over that. But I didn't delete any comments, actually. That was a screenshot of what I'm seeing so far. So, I don't know. It could be, maybe, as I put down. And this is the issue with a lot of things, is the fact that we don't understand the technology that we're even looking through. But you see how I have sort by? If you do newest first, it's going to show you more. So his comment was there. Yeah, still there. Oh, no, his comment's there. So I don't understand. Hopefully you don't end up in that position either. Liberals are all the same. You twist words to make veiled threats. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm being genuine when I say hopefully you don't end up in that position either. But then you take it out of context. You twist words to make veiled threats. You're so angry. You need help, dude. You're an American, buddy. Live free or die. And yes, your constant voice cracks and stuttering leads me to believe you are a little lack of confidence and your brain is still developing and malleable. My suggestion is to stop watching Hassan. Man, oh man. That's the funny thing too. I'm not always watching friggin' us. I typically don't even watch them anyways. In fact, you can see my sidebar right here, what I'm actually been watching. Crazy. So, a lot of people are just ignorant. You lack knowledge of me, and when I say things like this, clearly it baits you out. So, you're welcome. But the point is, you need to see reality for what it really is. And stop making shit up in your head. Stop believing dumbasses like Asmongold. Take the time to think for yourself. Wake up. Anyways, until next time, this is Spark saying, peace. Literally, oh my god. Damn, my cookie star. He's gaslighting himself, bro. It's fucking crazy. Oh, bye bye.